What does it mean to live freely, unshackled by the chains of convention, fear, or the ghosts of gods long dead? Imagine a world where laughter and song weave through the fabric of thought, where wisdom is not a burden but a dance. In this exploration of Friedrich Nietzsche's The Gay Science, we uncover a philosophy that defies the somber and embraces the joyeux, c'est call to reimagine life as art. Join me, a seeker of truth and a storyteller of ideas, as we journey through Nietzsche's most personal work, a tapestry of poetry, defiance, and existential wonder that whispers to the soul, "Dare to be free." Friedrich Nietzsche's The Gay Science stands as a luminous beacon among his works, a creation he deemed the most personal of all his books. Its title alone stirs curiosity, a deliberate nod to the proven-out troubadours, those medieval poets of the Gay Scienze, or Gay Science, who wove love and lyricism into art. When asked why he chose this name, Nietzsche wrote in a letter, "As for the title Gay Science, I thought only of the gay ends of the troubadours, hence also the little verses." These troubadours, masters of the gay saber, crafted poetry that sang of passion, a tradition Nietzsche saw as noble and inventive. In Beyond Good and Evil, he reflects, "Love as passion, which is our European specialty, must absolutely be of noble origin. As is well known, its invention is due to the provenal night poets, those magnificent and inventive human beings of gay saber, to whom Europe owes so many things and almost owes itself." Here, Nietzsche casts love not as mere sentiment, but as a cultural triumph, a gift from artists who dared to sing where others merely spoke. Yet the Gay Science is no mere echo of troubadour romance. Science, with its connotations of rigor and discipline, meets an unexpected partner in Nietzsche's vision, the levity of song, dance, and laughter. He accepts the seriousness of inquiry, but insists on pushing beyond it, declaring, "Where laughter and gaiety are found, thinking does not amount to anything." This is no rejection of thought, but a liberation of it, a defiance of the dour conventions that shackle philosophy to solemnity. The title itself carries a playful rebellion, hinting at Nietzsche's immoral as and his audacious revaluation of all values. It is a summons to see life not as a trial to endure, but as a canvas to paint with bold, vibrant strokes. Nietzsche urges us to become artistic Socrates philosophers who marry intellectual rigor with a poet's heart. He writes of a life infused with art, a style he claims as his own. Beyond the mantle of philosopher, he counts himself among the poets and artists, a creator who revels in the interplay of thought and beauty. Within the Gay Science, we encounter his first proclamation of the death of God and the enigmatic doctrine of eternal recurrence, ideas that ripple through the history of thought like stones cast into a still pond. These are not mere concepts but invitations to wrestle with existence itself, to question the foundations of truth, morality, and meaning. The book brims with discussions on knowledge, truth, and the intellectual conscience, alongside scathing critiques of religion and morality's miseries. Nietzsche warns against the preachers of morality, those who bind us to guilt and shame. His aphoristic style, short, potent paragraph spanning myriad themes, marks a departure from philosophy's traditional tomes. Some speculate this from necessity, born of Nietzsche's plagued vision and relentless headaches, which compelled him to jot down bursts of insight. He called it philosophizing with a hammer, a method that shatters illusions with precision and force. The text begins with a preface, followed by a prelude in rhymes, unfolds across 383 aphorisms in 5 books, and closes with an appendix of songs, a structure as deliberate as it is dynamic. Poetry flows richly through the Gay Science, the largest collection Nietzsche ever published himself. The first edition, ending with Book IV, appeared in 1882. Its final section, Incipit Goetia, serving as the genesis of Thus Spoke Zarathustra. A second edition, including Book V, arrived in 1887, post-dating Beyond Good and Evil. What might seem a chaotic jumble of aphorisms reveals itself as a meticulously woven tapestry. Nietzsche's preface speaks of a convalescent's gratitude. This whole book is nothing but a bit of merrymaking after long privation and powerlessness. The rejoicing of strength that is returning, of a reawakened faith in a tomorrow He contrasts this with the sick thinkers of philosophy's past, misled by suffering. From such depths, he insists, one emerges reborn not to philosophize from lack, but from abundance. This rebirth echoes the Dionysian spirit of the Greeks, a life-affirming revelry Nietzsche champions. His prelude in rhymes offers gems like, I do not love my neighbor near, but wish he were high up and far. How else could he become my star? Or he should be praised for climbing, yet the other man comes always from a height and lies where praise can never get beyond your sight. The book builds in intensity, book I lays a foundation, book I gains momentum, book I deepens, and book IV, Sanctus Januarius, dazzles. Writing to Peter Gast, Nietzsche exulted, the gay science's copy above all. Is Sanctus Januarius at all comprehensible? After everything I have experienced among men, my doubt about that is tremendous. Sanctus Januarius nods to, I want to learn, more to see as beautiful what is necessary in things, he writes, then I shall be one of those who makes things beautiful. Amor Fati. Let that be my love henceforth. This love of fate, Amor Fati, is no passive surrender but an active embrace of life's inevitability. He rejects war against the ugly, choosing instead to look away as his sole negation, aspiring to be a yes-sayer. Book V, We Fearless Ones, reflects the mature Nietzsche, aligning with his greatest works. Far from outdated, it shines as a testament to his evolving thought, a mirror of his mind's artistry. The parable of the madman in Book V remains iconic, proclaiming the death of God. Have you not heard of that madman who little answered in the bright morning hours, ran to the marketplace and cried incessantly, I seek God, I seek God. Met with laughter, he thunders, whither is God? I will tell you. We have killed him, you and I. All of us are his murderers. God is dead. God remains dead. And we have killed him. This is no triumph, but a lament, a recognition of a world unmoored by the Enlightenment's rationality. The death of God heralds a crisis of values, a void ripe for nihilisms, spread a weightlessness Nietzsche predicts will haunt centuries. His antidote emerges in the eternal recurrence, hinted at here and crystallized in Thus Spoke Zarathustra. Imagine a demon whispering, this life as you now live it and have lived it, you will have to live once more and innumerable times more, every pain and every joy and every thought, and sigh would you curse or bless such a fate. Nietzsche posits that only a soul ablaze with life that lies it, an idea embodied in the overman, the meaning of the earth, who rises as God's heir. This is the gay science, a symphony of defiance, beauty and wisdom, urging us toward true freedom not through escape, but through creation. In the gay science, Nietzsche offers not just a book, but a mirror to our existence, all to dance with life's chaos and craft meaning from its fragment. For the true freedom community, this is a testament to the power of philosophy as a path to liberation, a wisdom that transcends dogma and embraces the human spirit. If this journey resonates with you, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with those seeking their own freedom. Drop a comment with your thoughts or ideas for future explorations. Your voice fuels our creative fire. Stay tuned as we dive deeper with guests Alexander and Sophia, who'll share their reflections right after this. Let's keep seeking truth together.
All right, so get ready, because we're diving into something pretty unique this time. We asked for your input, and, well, you sent us a whole bunch of material about Nietzsche's The Gay Science.
Yeah, a book with a title like that, it's going to turn some heads for sure.
Absolutely. But beyond just the catchy name, we're really interested in getting into the ideas behind it, all that stuff about, freedom and joy and making a life that's like a masterpiece or something.
Yeah, and I think what's so cool about The Gay Science is how Nietzsche put it all together. Instead of going for the typical, dense philosophical treatise, he went with a collection of aphorisms and even poems.
Huh. So it's more like a mosaic of thoughts instead of one big solid argument.
Exactly. And that just adds layers of, complexity and even mystery, I'd say.
Oh, I bet. So how does that, the structure, impact how we even understand the ideas in the gay science, especially this whole concept of gay science itself? I mean, it kind of sounds like a contradiction, right?
Yeah, see, that's where it gets interesting. Think about it. Gay science. It's about approaching life and knowledge with a sense of joy and playfulness, almost like those Provençal troubadours back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, those medieval poets?
Oh, yeah, vaguely.
They were all about what they called gay saber, which basically means joyful knowledge. Their art was super focused on love, passion, beauty, all those things that you don't always find in like hardcore philosophy.
So we're not talking about like beakers and test tubes here, are we?
Not exactly. It's more about, I guess you could say, infusing the pursuit of knowledge with a spirit of artistic creation. It's like Nietzsche was picturing an artistic Socrates, someone who combines intellectual rigor with like a poet's art.
Okay, I can kind of see that. And to really drive home his points, Nietzsche used this like super sharp aphoristic writing style, right? Those short, powerful statements that really grab you.
Oh, absolutely. He even called his approach philosophizing with a hammer. Like he was trying to smash apart those rigid structures of conventional thought.
Yeah, that tracks. I remember one that goes, I do not love my neighbor near, but wish he were high up and far. How else could he become my star? It's a bit intense, right?
Yeah, that one definitely makes you stop and think. It doesn't exactly scream, love thy neighbor, like we're used to, does it?
Not at all. So what's the deal there? What do you make of that?
Well, for me, it challenges those assumptions we have about love and admiration.
Yeah.
Like, does distance actually give you a clearer perspective? Could being apart be what sparks inspiration?
Huh. So instead of trying to get close to someone, maybe he's saying there's something beautiful about seeing them from afar, kind of like, I don't know, admiring a star in the sky. And he doesn't stop at just challenging ideas about love, right? He goes even further into all these big, kind of scary topics. Death of God, a crisis of values, trying to find meaning in a world that just won't sit still.
Exactly. The gay science doesn't try to hide from those massive questions, you know. It tackles them head on, basically forces us to look at what we really believe, especially in a world where it feels like those old, solid answers are just gone.
Right, right. And then you have this whole concept of Amor Fati, which means what? Love of fate. That feels like the ultimate challenge. Embracing everything that life throws your way, like even the really bad stuff.
It's about truly accepting and even, loving your entire life, all of it, not just the easy parts. Nietzsche believed that by embracing the ugly parts and finding beauty in what we have to deal with, we can actually shape our own lives instead of just reacting to whatever happens.
I remember there's a line where he says, I want to learn more and more to see as beautiful what is necessary in things, then I shall be one of those who makes things beautiful. It's like he's not just talking about acceptance, but becoming a creator, even within all the limits that life throws at you.
You got it. Turning that struggle into something powerful, something creative even. And, that kind of leads us to one of the most, I'd say, impactful sections in the gay science. The story of the madman who shouts, God is dead.
Okay, I've heard about that one. So we're not talking about, like, an actual death, or it's more symbolic.
Definitely symbolic. The death of God is really about this monumental shift in how humans see the world and themselves. It's like the whole foundation for morality and meaning, that stuff that people used to rely on, is just shattered. And Nietzsche digs into what that might mean for us, the scary stuff like nihilism and all that. But he also throws down this huge challenge.
Like a call to action, to find a new way forward.
Exactly. He's saying, hey, now that the old answers are gone, it's up to us to create new values, new meaning, even if we don't have those old certainties to cling to anymore. And that's where things get really, really interesting, because that's where he introduces the idea of eternal recurrence.
Eternal recurrence. It's like, whoa. We live our lives over and over again, and every single moment, every joy, every heartbreak, every choice we make just keeps repeating forever. It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. It's this thought experiment that pushes us to look at how we're living it. Like, really look at it. Would you be okay with living your life exactly as it is again and again, with all the good stuff and all the bad stuff? Or would that thought, totally freak you out?
I think for a lot of people, it'd be a bit of both, honestly. But I'm curious, does this whole idea of eternal recurrence tie into the Overman concept that Nietzsche talks about?
Oh, for sure. The Overman is all about this radical self-acceptance, Not only could they handle eternal recurrence, they'd embrace it, fully.
So it's not just going with the flow. It's about making choices and living your life in a way that you could actually relive, forever, and be happy about it. But how do you even start to do that, to create yourself on that level?
Well, Nietzsche thought It starts with questioning those values that we just inherit, the ones he saw as life-denying. He was especially critical of traditional morality, like the stuff that comes from Christianity. He thought it focused way too much on guilt and shame, like suppressing your natural instincts.
So instead of embracing life, all of it, these traditional systems were pushing people to deny themselves, which I guess could lead to resentment and unhappiness.
Exactly. He saw that focus on self-denial as this huge roadblock to human potential. He wanted people to reevaluate all that ingrained stuff and move towards values that actually affirm life, even with all its messiness and complications.
So the gay science isn't just tearing things down, right? It's also this invitation to come up with a whole new way of thinking about morality.
It is. It's like he's saying, look, you got to own your values, especially in a world where the old rule book is gone.
Which is like a super liberating idea, but also kind of scary. If those old guidelines are gone, how do we even begin to create our own values?
Well, I think that's where the gay science comes in. It's about approaching this huge task, creating yourself with joy and a sense of experimentation. Nietzsche wants us to be artists, but of our own lives. He's saying, play with ideas, embrace the unknown, and see what happens.
There's definitely something freeing about that. It's like you're stepping outside all the boxes and saying, this is what matters to me, this is what's meaningful.
And you're doing it with curiosity, right? Like you're willing to experiment, maybe even fail, and then learn from it.
So instead of getting bogged down by all these huge questions, he's saying, hey, have fun with it, be creative. Doesn't mean it'll be easy, but it's definitely like an adventure.
Totally. And it's important to remember that the gay science isn't just theory. Nietzsche wants us to put these ideas into action, to live them.
So it's not enough to just understand the concepts like gay science, Amor, Fati, eternal recurrence. You got to actually do something with them.
Yep. Find those moments of joy in everyday life. See the challenges as, opportunities to grow. Approach life with a sense of curiosity and wonder.
It's like he wants us to be more alive, more present in our own experiences, to find beauty not just in the big ideas, but in all the little details.
And to never stop questioning, exploring, creating.
Yeah, for sure. We've covered a lot of ground here. Gay science, the death of God, internal recurrence, the Overman, and how Nietzsche felt about traditional morality. It's like a lot to take in. Is there anything else that you think is super essential for really getting the gay science?
I'd say it's important to realize that Nietzsche never claims to have all the answers. Actually, he kind of loves the ambiguity. He's more about asking questions that make you think than giving you, a straight-up solution.
So it's about the journey, about wrestling with these huge questions, not about arriving at some fixed destination.
Exactly. It's about embracing this process of becoming, of constantly evolving and questioning, even challenging those beliefs you just came up with.
That can be tough, though, right? To constantly question your own values.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. It can be super uncomfortable. But it's also incredibly liberating. You're free from dogma, and you get to create a life that's truly yours.
And maybe that's the real heart of gay science, embracing that discomfort that comes with growth, finding joy in questioning, and having the freedom to create a life that truly reflects, your unique spirit.
I love that. That's a beautiful way to put it. And I think it really captures the essence of Nietzsche's work. He wasn't about making followers, He wanted to spark something in each person to help them become their own philosopher, their own artist, their own creator of values.
It's a powerful message, and it definitely leaves me with a lot to think about. As we're wrapping up this whole deep dive into the gay science, it feels like we've only just dipped our toes in the water. Nietzsche's work is so deep, so many layers.
It really is. I mean, every aphorism, it's like it opens up this whole new way of thinking. It's no wonder people are still reading and talking about his stuff over 100 years later.
Absolutely. So before we leave our listener to go off and explore the gay science on their own, what's one thing, a key takeaway that you hope they walk away with?
For me, it goes back to that challenge to become creators of values. Nietzsche is pushing us to not just accept the beliefs we inherit, He wants us to actively choose what we value, what gives our lives meaning.
It's about becoming an artist, but instead of painting or sculpting, we're shaping our own lives, right? But that also feels kind of, intimidating, there's no map, no instructions.
Yeah, that's true. And that's where I think the beauty of gay science really shines through. It's about embracing that uncertainty, that lack of a clear path. It's about approaching this whole process of self-creation with a sense of, playfulness, curiosity.
So instead of freaking out because the death of God leaves us without those old certainties, maybe we can see it as this, like, opportunity to create our own meaning.
Exactly. It's about finding that creative spark within yourself and using it to, well, shape your life, to find joy, even when things are tough.
That's a pretty powerful idea. It takes a lot of courage to say, you know what, forget those prepackaged belief systems. I'm going to decide what's important to me.
It does. And it's not a one-and-done thing either. It's this constant process of questioning, experimenting, and, adjusting those values as you grow and change.
Okay, so as we're finishing up this deep dive, do you have, like, one final question, something thought-provoking for our listener, something to ponder as they keep exploring the gay science?
I do. I think a question that really sums up the essence of the gay science is this. If you could write your own personal commandments, those values that would guide your life, what would they be?
Wow, that's a great question. It really makes you think about what truly matters to you.
It is. It's an invitation to be more conscious, more deliberate in how we live our lives, how we shape our own destinies.
To our listener, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity to explore the gay science more deeply, to keep thinking about those big questions about life, meaning, and freedom. Remember what Nietzsche said, become the artist of your own life. So what masterpiece will you create?
It's up to you. You have the brush.